I'm here with knitting historian and designer Nancy Bush, who's here to show us a beautiful Estonian lace shawl. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
So it employs kind of a unique construction. So why don't you kind of walk us through it?
Yes, the cast-on edge is here at the top edge, and then there's a knitted lace border, and it goes right into the pattern, and the pattern is decreased on both sides to finish at the point, and then the outer edge is knitted in one piece and sewn on for the finishing of the shawl.
The pattern itself, the lace pattern itself, is a really lovely, almost floral kind of pattern.
Yeah,
to it.
it's like the lily of the valley, the flowers of a lily of the valley. It's called Maykel, or lily of the valley. Maybelle's is the exact translation, but for us it's lily of the valley.
Okay, great. So show us how you do it. One of the things that I love so much about Estonian lace, and it's pretty unique to Estonian lace, it seems like, is the combination of the open work and the texture.
And the texture.
And they're called noops.
Noop.
The sort of bobble textures to it.
Okay, so where I am in the pattern is just the last repeat right here. So there's always decreases. In this case, there's a knit two together and a knit one, and then a slip one, knit one, pass the slip stitch over, which is what the Estonians use for a left-leaning decrease. They don't use the SSK.
That's so interesting.
You can use one if you want, but it's not traditional to them. Then there's a knit one and a yarn over, knit another, yarn over, and now we're at the place in the pattern where we make the noop. So I'm going to go into the next stitch and knit, and make sure that the new thread that I just wrapped around is very loose. Very, very loose, in fact.
So it looks like you have hardly any tension
I don't
on
have
it really
any
at all.
tension on that yarn. Then I'm going to do a yarn over my right-hand needle, go in, knit again, one more time, and again a yarn over, and I'm knitting again into the same stitch. So I've gone into that same stitch over and over.
And always the front of the stitch. You don't twist it at all.
Yeah, and now I've made 5 new stitches coming from one. They can also make 7 or 9 depending on the thickness of the yarn. This is lace weight Shetland, and I chose 5.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to quickly finish my row, because coming back we finish the noop.
So it's interesting that you don't close it up on the same row that you...
It's on the row after, on the purl side.
So have Estonians always charted their lace while you're just knitting back to that
No, they haven't. They have, up until about 1930s, they didn't have charts at all. They only had samples like this, or a long sampler, and they would look at their actual knitted samples and decide what they were going to knit.
Oh, how interesting.
And if a neighbor wanted to use a pattern that, say, I had on my sampler, I would lend it, but the payback would be when she gives it back to me, she's had to add a new pattern. And that's how they've developed so many different patterns, by sharing that way.
Great.
Okay, I'm on the purl row back. When I get to those 5 stitches that I increased, the noop stitches on the row before, I'm going to make sure I don't catch the yarn over before them in, and I'm going to purl all 5 together at once. And that's why you want to make them loose.
Great. And that just closes them up.
And then you go on, make sure you get those purl stitches in, and there you go. Okay.
So can you just lay it flat for a second and show us what the noop looks like once it's finished on the needle, once it's been closed up? I see. So you have that little cluster of texture there. Well, great. Thanks so much for being here today, Nancy.
Thank
the
you.
pattern for the shawl is on the web, isn't it? And these other lovely shawls are all part of your new book, Knitted Lace of Estonia.
Right.
So,
Knitting Daily. Make time for yarn every day. Continue knitting daily every day by joining the online Knitting Daily community and receive a free newsletter 5 times a week, filled with step-by-step techniques, inspiring reader-contributed stories, and free patterns. It's about knitting all the time. knittingdaily.com.